Hello everyone and welcome to your home practice. My name is Trishy and for today's class we will be focusing in on passive flexibility poses. So holding poses for longer duration, grab your pillows and your blocks and take a comfortable seat on your mat. We'll just start with a 1-minute meditation just to become grounded to your mat and your practice and the class ahead of you. So cross-legged, kneeling, or sitting up on a block, bring the palms of your hands on top of your knees and close your eyes. Begin to bring your awareness to the inhale and exhale of your natural breath. Let your eyelids be heavy, close your eyes. Bring the shoulders down onto the back body. Sit up tall through your spine. So I won't be talking as much during this class so that you can feel free to make it an introspective class, focusing more on meditation, not as much engagement, more on relaxing into the stretches and breathing and staying nice and calm and peaceful. So I'm going to help you get into the poses and then you can just relax into it after that. So bring your palms together in front of your heart space. Inhale deeply through your nose as you exhale through your mouth. Release, grab your block and come and lay on your back. Place the block on its lowest setting underneath your sacrum, so not into the arch of the lower back, a little bit lower than that. Bend your knees and bring your feet flat on the ground. Just take a moment to feel the pose. Drawing your knees into the midline. Let the top of your body completely relax into the mat. You can either stay here or feel free to extend your legs down on the mat. If your heels are not touching the ground, bend your knees and keep your feet flat on your mat. So you're beginning to stretch a little bit into the hip flexors while letting gravity pull you down. If you have any pinching or compression in your lower back, also keep your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Bend your knees and bring your feet back onto your mat. Bend into your right knee and interlace your fingers either behind the knee or on top of the shin. And feel free to move your knee side to side, opening up into the hip. You can also take some ankle rolls, circling your ankle and your toes in one way and then the other. You can either stay here with your right knee bent, or if you wanted to take this a little deeper, you can straighten through your left leg, bringing your heel down onto the mat. Bring your knee back center, bend through your right knee and bring both feet to the mat, and we'll switch sides. So bring your left knee into your chest, interlacing your fingers on the shin or behind the knee. And at first, feel free to sway your knee side to side, lubricating the joint of your hip. Feel free to take some ankle rolls, flexing through your foot, and then relaxing it, spreading through your toes. You can stay here or feel free to extend your right leg, heel down onto the mat. If the block feels uncomfortable, that's why it's good to have some couch cushions from your sofa and just stick it under your hips. But either way, the block is just as effective. Bend your right knee and cross your right thigh over your left, coming into reclined shoelace. Your hips are still up on the blocks. If you are uncomfortable in any way, you can feel free to take your hips off the block, and you can clasp hold onto either your knees or your ankles. So you're trying to stack one knee directly over the other, bending deeply into that right hip, letting your upper body relax as you sink into this pose. Gently release your hold. Extend both legs up to the sky, and we're just going to switch sides. So wrap your left thigh over your right, stacking both knees one on top of the other, and clasping hold of either your knees or your ankles. So a deep stretch into your left hip, internal hip rotation, and simply relax. So for this class, you shouldn't be pushing yourself too hard. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being pain and 1 being you feel nothing, your sensation level should be around a 4 or a 5. So this class is more focused on relaxation and stretch as opposed to engagement and stretch. Release your hold, straighten both legs up to the sky, flex through your toes, then bend your knees, lift your hips off the mat and remove your block. Lower your hips back down to the ground and just feel that heavy sensation in your sacrum. Roll over on one side. Use the strength of your arms to help yourself up. Come and take a seat. Legs crossed. Lengthen through your spine. Bring your shoulders onto your back body and interlace your fingers behind your lower back, so your chest is opening up to the sky. So we'll be going into a bit of a neck release. So bring your interlaced fingers over to your left side body, and then keeping your chin parallel to the ground, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder. So you're feeling a stretch all along the right side of your neck. Keep your shoulders away and down from your ears. And release. Bring your palms back behind you. Interlace the more unusual way of your thumbs, and then bring your interlaced fingers over to your right side body, dropping your right ear over to your right shoulder. So you can feel free to keep your chin parallel to the floor, or gently turning your head, whichever feels best for the stretch in your neck. Either way, you should keep your shoulders down and away from your ears. Bring your palms back center, release your hands. And bring the soles of your feet to touch. Knees go wide. You can feel free to place blocks under your knees. And walk your feet out further than what you would do in a normal vinyasa class or hatha class. And simply fold forward, rounding your spine and completely relaxing your arms. So you're not pushing or pulling, and by not pushing or pulling or forcing yourself into the pose, you can round your back in this case. So I brought my forehead down onto a block, but you can feel free to dangle or grab 2 blocks, whatever is most comfortable for you. Use the strength of your arms to push into the mat, to very slowly and mindfully lift your spine back up, and then cross your right palm over your left knee, left palm behind you for a twist. So extend tall through your spine, and then switch left palm over your right knee, right fingertips behind you as you twist, open to the right. So that is just to release your spine from the forward fold. Then extend both legs out in front of you. You're going to go for another forward fold. Raise your arms overhead as you lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, fold forward over your thighs, completely relaxing your arms, not pushing or pulling yourself forward, and let yourself either dangle or bring your forehead to a block. So this is a great stretch for stretching your entire back body right down from your ankles all the way to the top of your head. So feel free to lower as gravity guides you. If you find that your mind has began to wander, just lovingly bring it back to your breath. Cool inhale, warm exhale. So use the strength of your arms to slowly, mindfully lifting your head and then your spine all the way back up. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your knees from side to side just to release your back from that pose. So now we're going to stretch into our feet and wrists. So come and take a seat on your heels with your toes down on the mat. Take a look back and make sure your pinky toe is also on the mat. So you're stretching your feet this way. Then come onto the backs of your palms so your fingers are facing towards the back of your mat. Elbows straight. If this is too intense, you can always turn your palm to the side so each fingertips are facing each other. Keep your shoulders down and away from your ears. And release your hands. Roll your palms around and back and forth just to release the stretch. And then come palms down onto the earth and lean forward so that your wrists are also getting a stretch in this direction. So keep your shoulders away from your ears. Try not to hyperextend too much through your elbows and keep your bottom abdomen tucked in. And then release. And we're going to come into an assisted yogi squat. So toes go wide, heels in, toes out. Sit your hips back, but this time sit your hips back onto a block so that you're supported and your elbows go to the inner edges of your knees. Palms together in prayer position. Lengthen through your spine as you let the block lift you. Feel free to close your eyes. So you're opening your hips with your elbows and letting the block support you. Keep lengthening through your spine as you bring your shoulders onto the back body and away from your ears. Bring your palms down onto the mat. Move your block off to the side. Come into tabletop pose, hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. And then extend your right foot to the outer edge of both palms. And try to get comfortable on top of your wrists, pushing through the fingers. So you're hugging your right knee into your right shoulder and getting a nice stretch into the left hip flexor. So there's a little bit more engagement in this pose. So a little bit arm strength, leg strength, but try to keep your chest as open as you can, shoulders rolling onto the back body, and heart pointing forward. So this will be the most intense pose of this class. Try not to fidget too much or let your mind wander loose. Just bring your mind back to your breath and relaxing as much as you can in this intense pose. Step your right knee back into tabletop pose. And we're just going to go to the other side. So left foot to the outer edge of your left palm. Left knee hugging into your left shoulder. Let gravity guide your hips down to the mat. And try to relax as much as you can in this very sensational pose. Try to let the weight be equal between both palms and your foot, so you're not putting all your weight into one palm or the other. And release, stepping your left knee back. Let your knees go wide, big toes touch. Sit your hips back for child's pose. Forehead can either come down onto a block or onto the mat. Let your arms relax. If this is too sensitive on your lower back, feel free to bring your knees closer together. Or you can bring your palms together in prayer position behind the back of your neck. Relax your body down onto the mat and try to give some of your back body some of your breath. As you relax and breathe also into your triceps. If your palms were behind your neck, bring them back out in front of you. Slide forward into Sphinx pose so you're on your forearms and on your belly. Your hips are grounded to the earth, as well as your back feet. Bring your shoulders onto your back body as much as possible. Back of the neck stays long. And the intensity of this pose depends on how close your elbows are to you or further away. So further away, the less intensity will be, and closer, the more intense. So we're going to start taking some variations. You can always feel free to stay in Sphinx pose exactly where you are. Either way, you're going to straighten through your elbows so that your arms are straight out in front of you. If this is too intense, you can always walk your palms a little further away from you, or you can stay in Sphinx pose. If you wanted to go a little bit further, bend your knees and point your toes up to the sky. Feel free to spread your toes. And drop your feet back down to the mat, bending your elbows. Make a pillow with your palms and then windshield wiper your feet from side to side while you bend your knees. So this will release any tension that has gathered in the lower back. Place your palms underneath your shoulders, lift yourself back up, and come and take a seat so that you're facing the long edge of your mat. Extend your right leg out to the side. Your left knee is bent, sole of the foot to the inner edge of the right thigh. And feel free to inhale, lengthen, exhale, folding over your right leg. So you can keep your right toes flexed or not. You're rounding your spine and you're not pushing or pulling in any way with your arms. So one way not to be tempted to do this is to face your palms towards the sky. You can feel free to place a block underneath your forehead, but I'm just dangling forward. Gravity will guide you deeper and deeper with each breath. Place your palms down on the mat and lift yourself up very slowly and mindfully. And we'll just go to the opposite side. So straighten through your left leg, bringing your right foot to the inner edge of your left thigh, and then folding over your left leg. Relax your entire upper body, just let it dangle. Slowly begin to lift back up. And then extend your right leg out to the side. So you're coming into the splits, front splits. If you're leaning back on your hips here and you can't seem to fold forward, feel free to sit up on a pillow or a block. Otherwise, simply dangle in between your legs. Toes are pointing towards the sky. You can come to a block as well, placing it under your forehead, if that is more comfortable for you. Begin to walk your palms back in, straightening through your spine. You can help your knees come back into center and just bend your knees, feet flat on the floor, windshield wiper from side to side to release any tension. Come and take a seat, lying down onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest and give them a big squeeze. And you can feel free to rock side to side, massaging your lower back. You can either stay here or feel free to take happy baby pose, bringing your fingertips to the outer edges of both feet, knees bent along your side body and hips wide. So again, a little bit of arm engagement here. You're trying to pull your knees down to the mat as much as possible and keeping your elbows to the inner edges of both legs so that you can keep extending your hips wide. And release your feet. Place them back down onto the mat. Shift your hips over to the right. Clasps on, hold to opposite elbows over top of your head. Keep both hip bones grounded on the earth and bring your feet as much as possible over to the left. So your body's in like a banana shape, and if you wanted to take it a little bit further, you can cross your right foot over your left. So you should be feeling this all the way from the shoulder armpit area down into the hip and all the way to your foot. Some people feel it in more places than others, but that's generally where the stretch is happening in the side body. If you had your feet crossed, uncross your feet, and we'll simply just go to the other side. So your hips are going over to the left, upper body over to the right. Switch the cross of your arms. Everything on your body is pointing up, so you're not on one hip more than the other. And if you wanted to take it a little bit further, simply cross your left foot over your right. So your entire left side body is being stretched. And begin to release, uncrossing your legs and arms. Bring your hips back center. And if you have a bolster at home, take a grab of it. If you have pillows, those will work just fine stacked, or even just a block or some stacked books. And place them underneath your hips. And then extend your feet up to the sky, straightening through your knees. So you can place your palms on your belly or down by your side, whatever is most comfortable. But this is a very good pose for relaxing, calming your mind, calming your stomach and anything else that might be tense during the day. This is a very relaxing pose. And gently begin to bend your knees, placing your feet back down on the mat. If you're using a bolster, feel free to place it underneath your knees or your pillows. Either way, windshield wiper your legs from side to side, turning your head in the opposite direction of your knees. Take a couple just like this. And then from here, just stretch right out into Shavasana. You can rest your knees on blocks, on your bolster or pillows, or simply have no props at all. Palms facing the sky, shoulders on the back body, legs flopping out to the side. Relax your jaw and any kind of facial muscles. Relax your entire body as you take a few minutes here at the end of your practice to relax fully and comfortably and safely. Begin to wake up. Take a deep breath, turn your head from side to side, reach your arms overhead for a big stretch. If you had any props underneath your knees, feel free to move them to the side as you roll over to one side, sitting up and taking a comfortable seat. Keep your eyes closed as you place your palms on top of your knees. And just feel the effects of your practice within your body and your mind. Bring your palms together at heart center. Inhale deeply through your nose as you exhale through your mouth. Blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing today with me, yogis. Namaste. If you enjoyed this class, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I put out new classes every Friday. Thanks again.